to the Connect the Dots podcast. Jeffrey Klein has conversations with a diverse array of successful people, sharing their stories to educate, inspire, and entertain. Here is your host, Jeffrey.
My guest today is Tom Stoltman, also known as the Albatross, who is a strongman competitor from Invergordon, Scotland. Tom began training at the age of 16 and started strongman competitions at 18. Doing this sport at the highest level with his brother Luke has been extra special, and Tom says that training, traveling the world, and competing with his brother is simply amazing. Tom is the current world record holder for the Atlas Stone Run, and Tom stands at 6'8" and weighs an impressive 397 pounds. I read he consumes 10,000 calories every day and can lift nearly 1,000 pounds, or the equivalent weight of a grand piano. All this led to this past June, Tom won the 2021 World's Strongest Man competition, becoming the first man from Scotland to win this competition. In addition to a strongman competitor, Tom is a huge fan of Rangers Football Club. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you very much for having me, my man. Thank you very much.
And I understand at some point we almost lost you to football, and you might not have ever pursued a strongman competition, but we'll get there in a minute. I like to kind of start at the beginning. So where were you born and what did your parents do for a living?
Yeah, so obviously I was born in the Highlands in Invergordon. I'm born and bred here, still living here as of today. And my dad we used to work on the oil rig. So he was like a pipe surveyor, oil person. I don't know much about it, but yeah, so he did that. So he was traveling like 5-6 months of the year, so didn't get to see him much. And then my mum, she kind of was just a stay-at-home, mum looking after myself. Obviously, I had autism and stuff, so she had to do extra care for myself. And then we had 4 other siblings, so there was a lot of us to kind of care for. So yeah, so that's what they did.
Yeah, well, I only have 3 kids, and that's a lot.
That's not enough.
Yeah. Parenthood is the best and most respected job, I think, in the world. So
yeah.
So when you were growing up earlier, let's say not teenage years, but maybe younger, 8, 9, 10, what did you think you wanted to be when you grew up?
It was football. Like I've said, since I could walk, I had a football at my feet. Everything I did was related to football. So I was really bad in school, maths, English. I wasn't the best at all that kind of stuff, science, everything. But as soon as PE football came, after school, I'd play football till 10 o'clock at night. I'd go to 2 or 3 football clubs every day just to get better at football. And that was my life. I followed Glasgow Rangers as well. As soon as I was born, my big brother put a strip on me as well. So I didn't have a choice not to support anyone else. And again, Luke played football a lot as well. Although he was into the gym, he was a really, really good footballer. He was going to be really successful in football as well. And I kind of followed in his steps for the football as well. But yeah, from 4 years old till 15, 16, I was kicking a ball my whole life. So.
Well, it's I've been straight, in America, following it as a spectator is not a big thing, but I've played it since I was a little kid, and it's a really amazing sport. Was there a certain footballers that you looked up to as role models when you were growing up?
Yeah, I loved the Ronaldinho. Him, is it like Kaká, Zidane? Those kind of guys. The greats back then. I was kind of I was young enough. I was old enough, to understand who Ronaldinho was, and he was unbelievable when I was 9, 10, 11, 12 growing up. So he was always my role model. Watching him play football was I want to be like him. So yeah, it was always him. That was kind of the guy that stuck out for me the most.
Now, Tom, I'm a little obsessed with storytelling and being able to communicate through stories. Did you grow up with anyone who was really a great storyteller?
I think my brother's told a lot of bad stories, but yeah. I don't really know much about my childhood because for me it's like a nightmare. But I know my brother, he had a lot of good stories of how he got into strongman with my granddad, who was Polish and stuff, and Like there was a picture of my granddad holding a big log on his shoulder in the war days, and that's kind of related to us. And he used to tell us stories about that, and my granddad used to tell us stories about, you know, him going in and lifting big cars and stuff for a joke. Yeah, so we had our family's quite, you know, we got a lot of different cultures in our family, so it's quite cool hearing stories from like the German side, the English side, the Scottish side, and the Polish side. So
I love that mix. The
yeah.
different ingredients, when you throw them together, is part of what makes stories interesting. So have you had a paying job? What was your kind of first paying gig that you had?
So I used to actually work with my brother-in-law who did landscape gardening. So like, you know, everything to do with gardening. I went with him for maybe a year and a half, and then I kind of worked on like with the trains on the railway tracks and stuff, built fences and maintenance for that as well. Then I did a security on construction sites, was kind of my latest ones before I finished working. So I did that for 2 or 3 years as well. So yeah, I was in all different jobs, you know. So
wow, do you still like gardening?
No comment. No,
I will let my wife know. She's a big gardener. So
my dad loves gardening. You know, he's obsessed with gardening. He does competitions with it as well. So he's always kind of kept me to keep my garden kind of nice. I keep my garden nice than I do my house.
And so you're a big football fan growing up. You're playing it. Your brother's playing it. When did the shift happen, and how did the shift happen to be like, no, wait, I'm going to start to do strongman competitions?
Up here where we're from, there's not many people, and like a lot of my friends played football just for like a hobby and didn't really want to get into it. But I went into like my local football club. I went to there's schools for like junior people, and I went to Glasgow Rangers, some of their skills school things as well. And none of my mates wanted to come with me, so they all obviously were wanting to get a degree and go to uni and all that kind of stuff. So it was maybe when I was like 15 years old. I kind of was like, right, I'm not going to make it as a professional footballer, so I don't really want to waste my life thinking I'm going to like false hoping myself, saying that I'm going to be a professional when I'm not signed for anyone at 15 years old. So I was like, right, let's just play football as a hobby. And then it was more like I kind of got a bit depressed because, like I said, all my mates had left to go away to uni and go to like the bigger cities and stuff. So I was like, well, I went from having 11 people to play football with to like maybe one, and my brother doesn't play football anymore, and there was no one to kind of communicate with for football. So I just locked myself in the room for a wee while and stopped doing all sports for like 5-6 months maybe, and then it was my brother that, because I was just playing the Xbox, the computer games, every single day for like that 5-6 months, just because I didn't have anything else to do. It's like it was that or going to like drink and drugs, and I didn't want to do that kind of stuff. So it was like, right, next thing is the Xbox. So I did that, and then I don't know what it was. It was one day my brother just said to me, "Oh, do you want to come into the gym?" But I'd never ever think about going to the gym. I was really skinny, really skinny, and self-conscious, like super skinny, and that's why I was like, right, I never ever thought of going to the gym. So I went, and like it was the most uncomfortable thing I ever done, because obviously like there was mirrors in the gym, lots of people were looking at you, there was girls there, and you're like, wait a minute, these girls are lifting like 70-80 kilograms, 200 pound, 100 pound. You're like, how are they doing this? And I go into the gym and can't even lift the bar by itself. So I tried it for a few days and I hated every single minute of it. So I quit the gym, and I was like to my brother, I'm not coming back ever again, because like the soreness the next day.
Was he big at that point? Was he a bigger?
Yeah, so Luke had been doing it about 10 years already. No, not 10 years, sorry. When I was 16, Luke was 26, so he had been doing it maybe a year or two anyway, strongman kind of stuff, but he was done bodybuilding before that, so he knew. But like, waking up the next day at like 16 years old being sore was not for me. I still had to kind of live my life, and I was just like crippled in bed, like, what's wrong with me? I'm 16 years old. So, but then I kind of just was like, stuff it, let me try it with him. So I gave it another chance, and I think it was more but I didn't really enjoy doing the gym stuff, like the bicep curls, the bench presses, but it was when I went down to watch Luke do his first strongman comp. like I went with a lot of people and a lot of my friends and my family and stuff, and seeing him lift cars, lift logs, lift Atlas stones, I was like, wow, this is like, I used to watch it on TV and I was like, this is like real life. This is like superheroes lifting weights. This isn't just like gym stuff. And I said to Luke, why aren't you showing me this kind of stuff? And then I kind of then went and joined a strongman gym back up where I live, and just kind of, you know, flew from there. Luke took me under his wing properly. I stuck to every single thing he said. I ate everything he said, and that was kind of it. Yeah. So it was a kind of dodgy, a kind of sketchy road at first, and then it kind of started taking off after that. So.
And now you obviously train a hell of a lot. What's your least favorite part of your training and your favorite part of your training?
Geez, I don't like any of it.
You still don't like it?
No, I mean, for me, it's. I think it's more like, I mean, I enjoy the training, but like if you're talking about like recovery and all that kind of stuff, like everything together, oh geez, it's a hard one because. So I enjoy the strongman stuff. I still love doing that. So I do the event day. So we have an event day we do on a Friday, and that's my favorite event. You know, that's my favorite day. I get to take the logs out and stuff. But for me, I hate like the squatting, the pressing, just the gym stuff. I still think that's boring for me. I still like have to talk to myself to go into the gym and like, look, Tommy, you have to go and do this stuff. You have to do the boring stuff.
Right.
And even to this day, I'm still like, oh, I can't be bothered going to go squat. Why can't I just go do strongman? You know, so yeah, it's more just the normal kind of gym related things that I still find very boring.
Could you not just do strongman stuff, or would that not work?
That wouldn't work because obviously you're overtraining it too much, and you know, like you need to kind of have the deadlift, because there's deadlift and strongman. You know, there's squats and strongman and stuff. It's just I have a specific day for like the specialist more stuff, and that's the fun ones. But then I have to like, if I have to squat tonight, oh my days, you know, it takes me like squatting, especially because I think I'm so tall, and like I'm not naturally gifted to, you know, squat. You know, a 5 foot guy goes.
Right.
Me, it's like
you got a long way to go down.
Yeah, so even when I get under the bar, I just think to myself, look, why am I doing this? You know, this is so bad. It takes me so long to get down, but you know, it is what it is. But you have
do you
to
train mostly with your brother?
Yeah, I mean, 90% of the time, you know, I mean, we've got obviously different. We've got the same coach, but we've got different programs. So, for example, if we're both doing, say, a log press, you know, I'll do my own stuff. He does his log press. We do that together. We might have different accessory stuff, but we're always in the gym together. We just might be doing different bits of training, you know, but we're all, 90% of the time we're training together.
I have 2 brothers, one older, one younger.
Exactly same.
And I, in high school, I wrestled, and my brother was a senior when I was a first year. He was, and so there, you know, there's some competition, I think, naturally in that. How would you explain or describe your relationship with your brother in terms of how competitive? You know, do you drive each other? Do you fight much? You know, how does that work into your life?
Yeah, so me and Luke, there's 2 sides to myself and Luke, which is weird. There's a strongman side, and then we own business, like a business and stuff together. So, I mean, the strongman side, we're really supportive. You know, we're good competitive. So, like, there's good competitiveness in there. Like, so, if, for example, Luke's doing log press, he's obviously the best in the world at log right now. I'll drive off him because he's good at that, and then it's vice versa with the Atlas stones. I'm the best in the world. He'll drive me off that, and then, like, if I'm down one night and I can't bother going to the gym, I'll get a text off Luke. Vice versa with me. So yeah, it's good competition. We sometimes, you know, set ourselves wee goals in the gym to see who beats each other, and we maybe have a wee celebration and stuff and rub it in each other's faces. But no, but the business side of things, that's when we kind of get sick of each other, and you know, it's quite hard because obviously, like, running a business is hard by yourself, and then there's 2 of you that clashes. You have different ideas. You want to do this, you want to do that, and we see each other enough in the gym. Then we have to, like, spend some more time, like, you know, making T-shirts, making posters, and not agreeing with each other. That's when a lot of the fights and the arguments kind of come out then. So that's the side that we try and stay. Like, if we do have a weak fight or argument, we like separate and cool down. You know, we're like we kids in the business side.
I'll tell you a funny story. So I used to live with my younger brother Alex when I was out of college, and we were both just out of university, and we had a foosball table in the apartment, and that was our way of resolving conflict. So if it was like, who's taking out the trash, I'm like, well, I'll play you for it. So
Yeah,
that was our way of dealing with,
that's good.
so you got to find ways to, kind of work through the competition. So Tom, let me ask you, you've obviously traveled a whole bunch with doing strongman. What do you think is the most surprising place that you found yourself? And that could either be a place, a physical place, or actually talking to someone that you were like, oh my God, I would have never imagined that I would be talking to this person.
I think Dubai really surprised me. Obviously you hear a lot of people say like, oh, Dubai this, Dubai that. Is it meant to? It's really, don't go there. The women don't get treated, blah, blah, this. And I went over with my wife for a month. I got invited over for a month. And to be honest, if Sinead let me, my wife, that's Sinead, I would have moved over there in a heartbeat. But I love Dubai. For me, it's a different, I don't know what it is. It's just so advanced over there compared to the UK. Everything's like next level. It's like you're fast forward already. Like it's like you're living 10 days in advance than you are back home. And yeah, I love that kind of lifestyle. I love like how you can get like the Ubers and stuff everywhere, how people come to your door and stuff for the shop. I love the lazy lifestyle.
So you should take some of that and bring it to Scotland.
I wish I could. I wish I could, but nah. I mean, every single person there was really nice that I talked to as well. They had a lot of time for you. I met a lot of interesting people, like a lot of people from different countries as well. Obviously a lot of people are based over there, with work and stuff. So it was really nice to see all the positivity, like of the country and the people that were saying so many nice things about the country. And the good thing about it, like usually when I travel with strongman, I don't usually get to see any parts of the country. So it was nice to actually get to see like a lot of Dubai there as well. So it was a really nice place. I went to Saudi Arabia as well, which again was really cool, so we did like some desert go-karts and stuff. So yeah, it was an unbelievable
Were you
place.
kind of a celebrity there? I mean, just your size alone, I figure.
But then not so much, because there's a lot of big people there, like Dubai's got a lot of good strongman stuff in there. I mean, I was kind of, a center of attention when, like you said, when I in among normal people, they're like, whoa. But it was nice to be like down off the radar a wee bit, because I was able to enjoy myself more, and that's why I was over with my wife, so I was able to do a lot of stuff. But yeah, that was a breathtaking kind of place that I was at. Like, it was unbelievable, that place.
You should go back. I've never been up, but I've heard amazing things about it.
Yeah,
my sister-in-law actually went with her whole family and just supposed to go for a week and then ended up being there 3 weeks. And
yes, see, that's what they get addicted to.
Let me ask you about your nickname, the Albatross. How did you get that name?
Oh, it was nice and simple. So basically, I was just in the gym, and when I was doing an exercise that you do, like you spread your arms right out by the side. Albatross has got the biggest wingspan in the world, so obviously my wingspan's big, just about as big as an albatross, I think. So then it came like that. It got stuck, the Albatross, and since then it's kind of got stuck with me. So yeah.
I like it. So you just won kind of the top of the top, world's strongest man competition. What was the highlight of that experience?
I think it was just going out there and proving that I could actually win it, because mentally I'm not the strongest as a strongman. And I mean, last year I made a mistake to stop myself from winning the title. And then it was just going, like, I wanted just to, like, obviously I didn't have my family, my wife, no one there with me either because of the COVID situation. So, but I wanted to go out there as like a lone person. Obviously I had Luke, but he's still his own athlete. I wanted to go out there and, like, with a strong mind, capable, that I don't need like my wife out all the time. I don't need my family all the time. I can do strongman myself. And for me, that was my proudest part, because a lot of people because I did a competition in Bahrain a few months before that, and my head was all over the place. I wasn't performing good, so it was nice to kind of go out there and prove a lot of people wrong and able to put on a great show for everyone. And like mentally, I felt really good the whole way through it. And yeah, for me, it was just that being that like mentally strong the whole way through the competition was my most proudest moment there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, in terms of athletes a lot talk about their mindset and the mental part. How important is that in being successful?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, it's just like, for example, I'm a good example of it because I was physically strong, but mentally I was never as, like, my mind wasn't as caught up with my body. So like, I would go into a competition and sometimes say I couldn't do this and I wouldn't do it. Whereas like in worlds and stuff, or really in the gym, you need to go, I can do this, I can do that. Easy. You know, you need to do all that positive words. You need to like, have that positive vibes coming off you. And that's exactly what I did. And I changed my mindset like that to make it a champion's mindset. And I mean, it worked big time. So.
And was there anyone who helped get, you know, books you read or people who are like?
Yeah, so I don't actually know her specific name, but she helped with the mind kind of stuff. She's called Amy. She's got a weird title. I'm not going to go into it. But anyway, so with autism as well, like I actually signed up with her about 5 to 6 weeks before Worlds. And at first it was very, very negative for me because when I talk about things one-to-one, like in my mind and stuff, having autism really, really affects that. So like for 24 hours after, that'll be on my mind. So I wasn't able to train, like my training sessions went down. I was not able to talk to my wife. I was just so depressed and so stressed. I was like, I knew it was working, but just out of the calls, my life was bad. So like, that was like that for 2 weeks. I mean, you see my YouTube videos, the last few weeks of my prep was like, I was just going mental at Luke. I was going mental at my coach, couldn't concentrate on nothing. And then all of a sudden, 4 weeks out, my mind just clicked like this. And the stuff she learned taught me, like, because the things we were talking about, you know, was like really dark places in my mind and, you know, what I don't like to talk about, what I like to talk about. And I've never ever done that before and opened up. So that's why all the stress was just going through me. I was like, geez, you know, and as soon as you know, now she's unbelievable. I talk to her every single week and she helped me, you know, have that champion's mindset. That's what we call it, the champion's mindset. And before World Strongest Man, I wrote on social media that I was going to win it. And that's how confident I was. And I mean, I won it. And that was just, it was unbelievable how I went from like a really, really kind of bad place to then like my mind being like stronger than my body, which has never ever happened before. So yeah, it was weird.
I love that. That's, you know, the power of positive thinking is really incredible. 100%. You know, so Tom, you are, you know, the world's strongest man. And by, you know, as a strongman competitor, most people argue that's as successful as you can get. But how does Tom define success?
I mean, I'm just lucky to be part of this job. I mean, for me, success for me is just like be able to put food on the table and, you know, look after my loved ones. And that's why I quit my job back when I did. And I said, is when I quit my job, I didn't have any money. I said to my wife, there's a competition in 2 months. I promise you I'll win that and put food on the table. And I did that. And since then, that's my kind of motto. You know, just because I won World Strongest Man, I'm not going to go change and be, money's making me successful and stuff, because there's no money in strongman. So as long as I can kind of provide for my family, you know, stay humble, stay like, you know, make sure this kind of community I'm in as well gets like bigger and supports me, I'm fine. I mean, like me and my brother and my family bought my dad a pickup. It's stuff like that you want to be able to give back. You know, I would rather give to somebody that needs it rather than, you know, me having everything. But yeah, that's success for me. Just World's Strongest Man. I know it's a great title, but I would have never got here if it wasn't for my family, my friends, you know, everyone in this community that supports me and stuff. So
that's great. And yeah, I mean, you know, any achievement in life, I think really it's never a single person. It's that support system that really, you know, lifts you up. What inspires you?
I mean, for me, you know, I used to think, I used to say a lot of like people like Arnold and that inspired me, but for me, it's myself, you know, because I've gone through a lot of things, you know, like when I was younger, obviously with having autism and stuff, like my childhood was bad. I was going to go into foster care. I was going to probably not be a functioning member of society and stuff. And like no one gave up on me for it. And that's the thing with me. Like I also forced myself to change a lot as well. Like with strongman, the thing with strongman was there's a lot of cameras and a lot of interviews, a lot of lights on your eye. That's the 3 things I hate: is crowds, a lot of lights, and interviews, talking to people. I would just put my head down and Luke would talk for me in the interviews. He would do that. But then I was like, right now, I can't have my brother, I can't have my family talking for me. I need to change. So I used to just take all the lights into the gym, put YouTube crowd noises on, and just pretend I was talking to 4 or 5 different people at once. So yeah, I inspired myself to change because like I knew I was a good strongman, but it was up here that was letting me down. Because I was thinking, oh no, I'm competing in front of 1,000 people today. I can't do it. I used to always say that I can't do it, or like what questions are they going to ask me? What are they going to do? And all this kind of stuff. So I really, really used all my energy to plan the interviews rather than concentrating on the strongman. And then, like I said, I just started putting myself in uncomfortable situations and change for the better, change for myself, change for my wife, change for like everyone around me. Because, I could have been like 20, 21 years old and still living at home and, just not wanting to change in my life, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to change for myself. So,
well, it's funny. I was thinking that success doesn't come from the lack of failure or lack of challenge or obstacles. It comes from overcoming them. And it sounds like that's exactly, you're like, no, I'm not going to let this. Yes, there's things in my way, but I'm not going to let this stand in my way. I'm going to, find a way to get over it. And that's remarkable.
Yeah, because if I wanted to quit, I would have quit like when I started like in junior level strongman. I was always like strongest, but never mentally strong. And like, I used to lose to people, like lose competition I should have never lost. But like back then I could have been like, right, this is me done. But I just wanted to keep going. And then boom, I eventually got better and better and put myself.
I usually say 21, but you're not that old. So I'm going to make it 18 because that's when you started. So if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Just to like mentally, make sure I'm mentally ready for like the kind of strongman like scene or the gym scene and stuff. Giving myself, I mean, for me, I didn't really know strongman was that big a sport. I didn't realize there was cameras in it. But yeah, I think it would be like just to relax and stay calm when I'm doing like interviews and stuff, and to kind of slow myself down and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's past now. So
what do you think is the next trend in strongman competitions? Do you think it will continue to be the same? Do you think things will change? Will they, do they come up with new concepts of competition? Sports?
I mean, every year it's usually like there's like either a tour in the UK, which is called Giants Live, and then you have the World's Strongest Man, which it's something's in different countries, but the event World's Strongest Man is probably the only competition that will have different events or totally different events than the previous year. Like for example, this year they had a turntable on with a train on it, and they've not had that in since 2002. So that's whereas like the other competitions you'd see, like the ones in the UK, you would get like a deadlift in every single one. You may get like this different like a frame carry and then a sandbag. They would be roughly the same, but they would like World Strongest Man's the one that changes the most. So like next year we could have some mental thing. It depends. The World Strongest Man usually do it in like, so for example, it was in Sacramento and it was at like a train museum, so they wanted something to do with a train there. So if it's at some other location and whatever it's famous for, they'll try and get that involved in the competition, which is quite cool. So there's 1 or 2 events in Worlds, and the rest is usually around the same, but there is usually 1 or 2 events that you're like, whoa, like where did this come from?
Keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
So what's next for Tom?
I mean, I've not trained much since I've been back from Worlds, which is annoying, but
you deserve a break, right?
No, I mean, I just want to keep going, I want to keep on. I love doing strongman. World's Strongest Man or not, I'm always going to keep training. I think I've got a competition in September in the UK, which is called Europe's Strongest Man. So that'll be my next kind of big one that I want to do good in. And then after that is Britain's Strongest Man. So I want to, do good in them too. And then I think I've got another 2 or 3 comps the rest of the year, but that's just for some fun. And then the big one, World's Strongest Man's in May next year. So the prep starts for that in November. So from November onwards, it'll be like back to kind of sacrificing family, the wife, etc., and concentrating fully on strongman.
So Tom, this is where I ask you 9 rapid fire questions, just the first kind of thing that comes to your mind. This first one will be interesting to me. So if they made a movie about your life, who would you want to play you?
The Rock.
Yeah, you'd be perfect. Should stories always have happy endings?
No.
Do you have a favorite emoji?
The muscle one.
Can you name one of your favorite songs?
I like Stormzy. I don't know the song, but I like to see it all. Stormzy, yeah.
Do you have a favorite social media platform?
Instagram.
Can you name a book that left a lasting impression on you?
Harry Potter.
I actually, it really changed the way I thought about reading, but that's another story. Can you name one of your favorite movies?
Step Brothers.
What's one thing you can't live without?
Burgers.
And if you could be credited with inventing something, what would it be?
The toilet.
That's a great answer. Tom, you've been awesome. This has been so fun. Is there anything that you want to promote at the moment? Obviously, you're whether it's your business or where people could find out more about you.
Yeah, I mean, so if you go on to www.stoltmanbrothers.com, that's got all our merchandise that we've got out right now. And also, if you want a wee laugh, YouTube, Stoltman Brothers, and there's like all the YouTube videos there, and you'll see our links to social media, sponsors, etc. there. So that'll be the 2 best places to get us.
Awesome. Tom, again, this has been amazing for me. I've really enjoyed this and learning about your life and what it takes to be the world's strongest man. So thank you for helping us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my man. Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking your time to listen to this podcast. Please subscribe on your preferred podcast platform so you don't miss any future episodes. If you could also do me a favor and please leave a review on iTunes, I would really appreciate that. Remember, story matters and is the best way to connect the dots.